He owes almost $400,000, pays $5,000 a month, and is upside down big time and wants to get out of it.
So whoever owned his car, it cost him $170,000 to own his car for 2 years.
All right, so this video is going to be pretty fun because we've talked about it a couple times in passing in my previous car videos with people rolling in negative equity in their deals or just paying over MSRP, especially because we're at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, and people haven't really been doing that well for a couple years. We're starting to see the consequences and a ton of people losing money on vehicles. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're just going to be watching a lot of people lose a lot of money, a little bit more of an entertaining video compared it to my others, but I thought you guys would enjoy this because, I mean, how many people have you seen spend all of their money on a new vehicle just to show off, to have that kind of lifestyle, even though they possibly had negative equity on the previous car? But the highs from 2020, 2021 are really starting to grind down to a halt, and cost of living starting to get really rough, and we could see some of the consequences. So I got a whole bunch of clips, different examples, along with some of your comments from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But we're going to start off with a pickup truck that the owner owes more than double what it's worth.
All right, so calling back a customer on a 2022 GMC Sierra that he wants to trade in. So let's give him a call.
Hey, Jesus, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I heard that you are trying to trade in your GMC Sierra.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm looking to trade it in, see what I get for it.
You just looking to sell it, or you want to trade it in for something different?
I'm looking to see what I could get appraised for, and then, from there.
1,000 miles?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much do you own the vehicle?
Yeah, actually looks like I just did the 10-day, and I got about $65,609.27.
You owe $65,000 on the truck?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what I got left to pay off on it.
Yeah, brother, I'm way off, man. If I were to give you an offer, man, I'd be like high 33s, like low 34s, man.
Bought it for, I think it's around 40, but I also rolled over negative equity from my last truck too. I think that's what killed me.
It looks like it has one small accident on the Carfax.
I accidentally hit my mom's car when she was back on my driveway.
And how's your credit?
My credit's pretty good. I mean, right now I'm about 680.
So honestly, man, like if you're trying to sell it, I mean, you'd have a good, what, $30,000 to pay on top to get off the lien. I mean, I don't have anything that I think you'd be interested in rolling over that much negative equity. Even if I could, I don't even think I can roll over $30,000 of negative equity.
The negative equity kind of stuff is insane to me. I mean, the truck was initially $40,000, went down to 30 because the accident, he had over 40,000 miles on it, but he was already in the hole with the previous vehicle. And instead of getting something that would depreciate as little as it possibly can for any sort of vehicle, which ends up being some sort of Corolla, Civic, Honda, Toyota, something very reliable and cheap in comparison to maybe buying a pickup truck to hopefully keep the payments somewhat low, but buying a brand new GMC Sierra turns into owing $65,000 on a $30,000 vehicle. Wow. And I mean, you could see some of the comments, just keep trying to roll negative equity. I don't know how that doesn't stress people out. Put that man in a 3-year lease on a Corolla. And that's what normally happens if you want to be smart. If he did make a bad choice with a previous vehicle and are underwater, that's probably the best way to get out of that situation. And I mean, this goes all across the board. It doesn't matter if you're a normal person and still spending, $40,000 on a pickup truck, or somebody super wealthy who paid over MSRP to get a nice new sports car during COVID because everybody was making money. And then a couple years later, when it's not nearly as cool anymore and you don't have fun with the vehicle anymore, depreciation is way worse.
Yo, yesterday I was offered this car from another dealership, and the amount of depreciation this car took is insane. So this is a 2022 Maserati MC20. Maserati came out with these cars. They were selling for $50,000 over sticker when they first came out, which to me is insane. So yeah, if you see up here, they want $140,000 in this car. So MMR, which is average wholesale value at auction, is $160,000. But the recent examples have been bringing way less than $160,000, which is why I guess they want $140,000. They probably pay the customer around $130,000, $135,000 or so on trade-in value, and they're just trying to make a quick wholesale deal because, again, this is a lot of money that's being tied up. And I don't know where the market is, and I'm sure these are not fast movers in the market. So I did a quick Google search on the VIN, and sure enough, this car sold in 2022 for $296,000. And you can't forget the 5% bring a trailer buy fee, which puts this car at around $310,000 that the buyer paid for this vehicle exactly 2 years ago. So whoever owned this car, it cost him $170,000 to own this car for 2 years. And if they put 4,000 miles on this car, if you do the math, it cost them $43 every single mile they drove to own this vehicle. This is a 55% depreciation on this car, which to me is insane, right? Because these cars were bringing over sticker. It was major hype around it, but again, it had a 3.0 V6 engine in it, which I think killed the value of these cars.
$300,000, especially for a Maserati, which we'll see a little bit later. But it is one of the big cars that a whole bunch of people will flex because they believe that it's even better. You know, it's a step above, you know, the Audi, Beamer, Mercedes type of luxury cars, which honestly, they're really not. Maseratis are built pretty horribly, and there's a reason why you could get Maseratis unbelievably cheap on the used market. But some of the comments here, fantastic buy for $65,000 in 5 years. Honestly, it probably won't be too far off. Amazing buy at 60 to 80K, V6 killed it. So people are just going to wait until these absolutely tank. How is Maserati still in business at this point? They sell like 100 cars a year. But yeah, even with the MC20 looking nice, honestly, overall, I think it is a pretty nice looking car. It's solid for about $60,000, not the $310,000 that the first owner bought it for. Absolutely insane.
Guys, check out how horrible the depreciation has been on the BMW iX. So here we have a brand new BMW iX for $109,000. And from the bottom of my heart, I really think this is one of the ugliest cars of all time. I mean, just look at that. That's disgusting. Ugh, I don't know why anyone would ever buy this thing. And here we have one that's only 2 years old for less than $50,000. So if you bought this car brand new, you would have lost over 50% in depreciation in only 2 years, which is obviously insane.
I do want to say that all of these luxury cars are going to be hit with depreciation. It's not like I'm specifically just hating on Maserati compared to the other makers, because if you're buying especially electric BMWs, the iX I think is hideous, and the XM I believe is another one, which is even worse. I'd rather take an iX than the XM. That one's brutal. But both of them are falling in price like rocks. I mean, $50,000. The price is cut in half because it's used. But these came out around the perfect time during COVID. They were all new electric vehicles when people were making a bit more money. EVs were the new cool thing to have on the block, and not even just a Tesla. Now I could get a BMW EV, a nice big SUV. I mean, it just checks all the boxes, trying to keep up with the Joneses and making it look like you have more money than you do. And then you realize, hey, maybe the vehicle's not that great. It's not super reliable, or because you probably paid over MSRP, then you try to sell it on the used market and you lose $50,000. We have a comment from one of you guys. When I was in high school, you could pick up an old muscle car for $2,000 to $3,000, and with a little work, it was your dream car. And that is just not the case anymore. It's honestly completely out of the question, and unfortunately because of that, we'll still have kids coming out of high school, 18, 19 years old. Maybe they have a semi-decent job, still wanting that dream of a muscle car, maybe a luxury car, sports car, something like that, but they're not paying $2,000 to $3,000. They're paying $20,000 to $30,000. I mean, $40,000, $50,000, just way, way more than what you'd see a couple decades ago. And because of that, it turns into unbelievable depreciation and negative equity that could really put a wrench in your financial plans for quite a while.
I'm about to call a customer, and you guys are gonna see how it is being a dealer, taking trade-ins in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, is this Tariq?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Tariq? This is Gus with Legacy More Cars of Georgia. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, boss?
Not much, man. I hear you have a 2019 Hellcat you're looking to trade in for our 2018 Demon.
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. Can you tell me a little bit about the car, how many miles you have, how much you owe, what's your monthly payment?
2019 Hellcat. It's got 121,000 on it. I owe 75,000 on it.
What's your monthly payment on that car?
$1,200.
Okay. And what's your insurance cost per month?
$300.
$300. And that's $1,500 a month total.
Yes, sir. I was using it for Uber Eats.
Uber Eats?
Yeah.
Okay, man. That's a lot of car to be Ubering in, my man. Hey, what do you do for work, and how much do you make?
I do Uber Eats, and I want to say I do on a good month about 45K.
45K?
4 to 5K.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 45K. I was like, bro, I need to get in that business. Okay, man. I'm looking at the wholesale pricing in here, and with the mileage that car has, you're looking at about 28,000 to 33,000 on trade-in. Yeah, man. I don't think that's gonna work. I mean, you're upside down. 40,000 dollars in this car. I don't. I mean, do you want to get in something like cheaper, maybe like a Honda, a Toyota, or something so you can continue, doing Uber Eats?
Nah, man, I'm not going from no Hellcat to no Honda.
Interest rate on the Hellcat.
Right now, my interest rate is at, I want to say 22%.
Okay.
I mean, what am I supposed to say about that? Like, you owe $75,000 with 22% interest rate with a 120,000 mile Dodge Challenger. Are you kidding me, man? I'm amazed that it even lasted 120,000 miles for a Stellantis vehicle on its own. How are you paying $1,200 a month for this car when, again, for Uber Eats only, and you're making $4,000 to $5,000 a month? I mean, a quarter of that is going to the car that is only worth about $30,000, even though, again, you owe more than double. And the dealer even tried to do the same thing with rolling negative equity into a vehicle that depreciates less, so hopefully the payments won't be that bad, at least in comparison to trying to roll into a demon. And what does he say? No, I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to suck up my pride. I'm just basically going to be paying four figures for a vehicle forever, because it's honestly just how some people think. They want others to believe that they're doing well in life, and I mean, this comment goes with it perfectly. Had a clout-chasing coworker tell me that you're poor if you don't have a car payment, even if you fully pay it off. I was stunned and realized this is how most social media clout people think, and this is what makes the economy go round. Kind of hits the nail right on the head with the last clip and how that guy thinks.
Let's take a look at how bad the depreciation is on luxury electric cars. As requested, let's start with a Mercedes-Benz EQS. So here's a brand new Mercedes-Benz EQS 580, and it's for sale for $158,000. This car is absolutely hideous. I don't know what Mercedes were thinking. They could have actually done a good job with their first, really all-electric car, but they absolutely ruined it. So brand new, 2023, this car is $158,000. Let's take a look at how much it is used. And here's a used 2022 Mercedes-Benz EQS 580, and it's for sale for $76,000. So if you had bought this car brand new in less than a year, you would have lost over $80,000. Now let's take a look at my personal favorites all-electric car, the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. This 2023 is for sale for $219,000. Here's a used 2020 Taycan Turbo S, 7,000 miles, $96,000. Insane.
Honestly, whenever I see electric luxury vehicles on the road, that's all I think of now. I know all of us have probably seen the EV market in general drop, even with Tesla, like the most popular EVs. But when you get crazy stuff like this with the EQSs, any of the EQEs, I think there's an EQB maybe. They have a couple different all-electric models, but the same thing with the Porsches. I honestly hope that they were bought used for that $96,000 or the $70,000 for the EQS, because if you were the sucker who bought it first brand new, especially during COVID, probably over MSRP. There goes about 5 or 6 figures if you're trying to sell it and get into another vehicle. Here we have another comment from one of you guys. Any car payment above $400 is insane to me, and we could just go back to the previous clip. The EQS brand new was $2,000 a month. Even the used one that was half price was half of it, $1,000 a month for that car. The used Taycan was almost $1,400 a month. That was more than half depreciated, so the brand new one at about $220,000 is almost $3,000 a month. And with how ridiculous all of these numbers are, and you think to yourself, who's buying it? Well, somebody did. Whenever there's a used car that we could see how much it depreciated, there was some sucker who bought it first and took that ungodly hit to their net worth.
I would have had $12,000 in negative equity.
Coming from a person who actually had $12,000 in negative equity, it's a good thing you didn't do it. You see, in my life, I made some pretty poor financial decisions in my younger years. And I mean poor financial decisions in my younger years. So much so, I had to declare bankruptcy at 35 years old. This was my 2021 Ram 1500 with the blackout appearance package, LED package. I love this truck in the flame red. This truck was amazing, but It was not my truck. It was a lease. But to make a long story short, this truck was short-lived because I shortly traded it in after I got it because the used car market during COVID skyrocketed. I was able to get out of my lease and I was able to get into a Durango. Now with this truck, I had $12,000 in negative equity due to a previous vehicle I had before this. When it was all said and done, I was paying over $700 a month for this SUV that wasn't worth no more than $3,000. Negative equity is and if you're like me and you switch vehicles often, which I've learned not to do, you will get caught up in negative equity, especially if you drive a Dodge. Once you drive that Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler product off the dealership floor, guess what? You lost about $5,000 just driving on the road. You are that is gone money. That money is gone. Kids, if you're watching this video, let it be a lesson to you. Pick a vehicle you like, work hard for it, and be proud of it. Do not switch vehicles every 3 years. You will regret it, you will get into debt, and you will have extreme negative equity. Don't be like Steve.
And I mean, what he's saying is pretty solid advice. And that's how bad $12,000 of negative equity hurts somebody. I mean, he went bankrupt, probably making other bad financial decisions. But in comparison to the other vehicles we're seeing in this video, it could get way, way worse for some people if they're buying the EQSs, the luxury cars, any of the higher end stuff, because maybe you had a year or two where you were making decent money and you thought that you'd be completely fine spending $1,000 a month on a vehicle. And then any sort of downturn in the economy, maybe you get fired, you can't make the payments anymore, you try to sell the vehicle, and you turn into someone like this, getting into a ton of negative equity. So we have another comment from one of you guys. What people don't worry about is the final cost after the loan is paid. Someone I know paid $14,000 for a Toyota Sienna with 12% interest for 5 years, and they're going to be paying over $25,000 at the end. All they care about is that they could afford the monthly payment. And that's a situation that's better than most. I mean, a Toyota minivan, you're gonna have that for quite a long time. The depreciation won't be nearly as bad as other comparables in the luxury market or any of the high-end vehicles. So imagine what happens when you pay $70,000+ for a pickup truck or the giant SUVs, you know, the Escalades, we'll get to that in a second. Those type of vehicles that have way higher of a payment, especially with the high interest rates right now, and the depreciation over time would be way worse.
Here are the fastest depreciating cars heading into 2024. If you're gonna buy one of these, buyer beware. So starting off on our list at number 7 is the Audi A7. So the A7 depreciated over a 5-year span, 57% of its value based on MSRP, which equates to $48.9 thousand. Number 6 on the list was the Jaguar XF. The Jaguar's XF model depreciated over 58%, which equated for $93,000 off of its MSRP over 5 years. At number 5, that's the Infiniti QX80 SUV. The QX80 depreciated 58% over a 5-year span, which equates to over $47,000 off of its MSRP. At number 4 is the Cadillac Escalade ESV. The ESV model would depreciate over 59%, which equates to over $63,000. I mean, I knew it. I knew this was coming up. So number 3 is the Maserati Ghibli. The Maserati Ghibli depreciates, get this, 61%. That's a drop of nearly $58,000. Jeez. And then number 2 is the BMW 7 Series. The 7 Series depreciated over 62%, which equates for $72,000 off the original MSRP. Hey, and no surprise, at number 1, that's the Maserati Quattroporte. Now we know why they're giving out such huge incentives in the month of December to get these things off the lot, but the Quattroporte depreciates 65%, which equates to $90,000 off of its original MSRP.
So those were all vehicles that had the numbers for the past 5 years of depreciation. And real quick, we could look at one of them with the current model years, 2025, that will do the exact same thing. If we look 5 years down the road, but there are still going to be some people who will buy it brand new.
Is it worth it to buy the new Cadillac Escalade V? I get so many messages about people asking me, Yusuf, can you get me a Cadillac Escalade V at MSRP? And all over the market, they are at least $30,000 to $50,000 marked up from the MSRP. Here we have a 2025 Cadillac Escalade V with 72 miles going for $230,000. MSRP for a 2025 Cadillac Escalade V is right about $162,000. So that means that they're being marked up over $60,000 in some cases. Now, if we take a look at a 2024 Cadillac Escalade V, they're going between $128,000 and $145,000. And these were also marked up $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 over MSRP. Here's another one, a 2023 Cadillac Escalade V with 26,000 miles going for $125,000. So if you're looking to buy a 2025 Cadillac Escalade V at MSRP, you better wait a year or two because these are going to depreciate very fast and very hard. I'm guessing after a year or two, this will be right around $130,000 to $140,000, so almost $100,000 depreciation. The same thing with the new G-Wagons. Please understand that nobody can get you a G-Wagon or a 2025 Cadillac Escalade V at MSRP. They're all going to be marked up. They're all going to be $50,000, $60,000 over sticker, and there's no way around it. Doesn't matter if you're a celebrity, if you're a rich person, doesn't matter. If you can stomach a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 depreciation on an SUV within a year, then buy it. If you can't, wait it out. You don't have to get the first thing all the time and get at a good price in a year or two.
But as you could see, even with the car market starting to have some issues over the past few months, we still have some vehicles going way, way over sticker, just like it was 2020, 2021.
Calling a customer on his 2022 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. He owes almost $400,000, pays $5,000 a month, and is upside down big time and wants to get out of it. Let's see what can be done. Good, so I'm calling about the Rolls-Royce Cullinan you got. It's a 2022. I think the message I got said 2021, but the VIN number says 2022. I love the orange interior. So tell me what you got, man. What you got going on?
Yeah, man, I got a call like 2 years ago. I got paid like $384, and and trying to get rid of, and I wanted to see what you could do for me. You know what I'm saying? I saw you on YouTube.
How much money did you put down?
Like I put like 15, 20 down on it.
All right.
I'm trying to get out of that. Pay $5,000 a month. For the car, the Wood Forest, bank, whatever. And
Wood Forest or Woodside is the bank?
Woodside, my fault.
I know, good. I'm about to say, man, Wood Forest, that's the bank at Walmart. So, now you good. So, 40,000 miles. But, yo, $5,000 a month for a car, that's crazy, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, it's just killing me. It's killing me.
Says you're in Miami, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. I mean, I love the color. The orange on the inside looks beautiful. No accidents. Right now my offer, 40,000 miles is a lot for the Rolls Royce. I'll probably be at like 275. So you said you owed $380,000.
So just checking all the boxes, only putting down $15,000 to $20,000 for a $400,000 Rolls Royce probably means you can't afford it. $5,000 a month, and just another story of their life starting to go south, not doing as well compared to a couple years ago, and realizing that you lost $100,000 on this vehicle. You could see some of the comments here. If you have to finance a Rolls Royce, you can't afford a Rolls Royce, especially when you get at that price point. That's something way past any of the BMW, Mercedes type level of luxury. The people who have those kind of vehicles should honestly just only buy them straight up in cash, even though they're still throwing their money into a fire, especially with Rolls Royces, terribly unreliable cars. But if you really are that rich and you like it that much, then whatever. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but only being able to afford $20,000, living that Miami lifestyle, driving around in a Cullinan just like everybody else does apparently there, probably wasn't the best decision.
You have a 2023 Raptor R you want to sell us. Looked at a few pictures, man. It's a beautiful truck. You said that you bought this truck last year, right?
Yeah, man, but I'm really trying to get out of it.
I got you. What'd you buy it for, if you don't mind me asking?
$160,000, right when they came out.
Damn, man. Yeah, I know they were hot. They're selling for crazy over sticker. What do you owe on it currently?
Around 140.
140. Okay. So listen, man. I was looking at some comps whenever you sent me the VIN, and they're going for around 97-ish to 105-ish wholesale, because you do have a lot of miles on it. You have 39,000 miles on it, right?
Yeah.
Pay down about $40,000 if I were to buy this truck. Or, like I said, if you trade it in, maybe we can roll some of that negative equity into it, but you definitely need a down payment in order to get in something new.
Man, I'm really just trying to get out of this payment.
What's your monthly payment?
$2,800. It's been real slow right now, and I'm really just trying to get out of this payment.
What do you do, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in the home building industry.
Got it.
Really what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to get like 20 grand. I know, I know you're saying like 90. I've seen them selling a little bit over 100 grand. So if you just give me 20 grand, I'll just come drop it off. You can just do whatever you need to do with it.
I got you. I mean, you mean just drop it off for like $20,000?
Yeah, like you cut me 20 grand and I'll just come drop off the truck.
No, man, I don't think that's gonna work. Cause I mean, like I said, they will retail for like 110, 115, but again, this is a wholesale deal, so you'd have to come up with like $40,000 covered negative equity. If I give you 100 grand for the truck.
Man, I just don't want this truck at all. I really don't want the payment.
Nah, man, I mean, it doesn't work like that. I mean, you can take it to your bank, but you know, whenever they sell it at auction or wholesale it, you're gonna have to come up with a net difference.
Yeah, man, well, that's not gonna work. Like I said, I was looking for 20 grand. So if I could think about it, man, if I come drop it off, just give me 20 grand and you can just do what you want with it. 20 grand, you do whatever you want with the truck. I just can't keep making this payment.
I got you, man, but it doesn't work like that. I mean, I need a title. Do you have a title for it?
Nah, man, I don't have the title for it yet.
I got you. Nah, man, I mean, like I said, the only way to do this, man, is if you come up with a negative equity and we roll in something else. Or I just buy the truck outright, but I'd need a check from you.
So there's a couple of things about this story. First, $160,000 for a Ford F-150 Raptor R. I think the MSRP is around 100 to like 110, maybe 120. Of course, the dealer slapped $40,000-$50,000 above sticker. Somebody bought it, was in the home building industry, and you know, maybe he was living the high life. He got a contract where they can make those cookie cutter builds and make a whole new town, all the brand new construction, and make a ton of money. And then when that ends up drying up, he can't afford making the almost $3,000 a month payment for the vehicle. Now, I feel like something else shady was happening, that he just needed $20,000 immediately, so he was trying to drop off the truck even though it was worth way more. So it definitely feels like there was more to the story, but we have a comment from one of you guys. Financing houses like this was a big cause of the 2008 financial crisis, so I'm glad we all learned from that. And I think it's funny, back when people were getting crazy mortgages for their houses, basically we're in the same price range now, but people are financing vehicles instead of houses for it. All to keep up with the Joneses, make yourself look like you're doing better than you actually are. And we'll finish off this video with some of the vehicles that do exactly that.
Here are 3 heavily depreciated cars that look like they cost way more money than they actually do. So if you want to finesse your way into looking like you won the lottery, here are 3 cars to consider. Number 1, it's going to be the BMW 850i. The 7 and 8 series are known for depreciating. The 850i is no different. This car had an original MSRP of like 100K plus, and now you can find yourself one of these just below 50K. For a car that looks as good as it does, has an amazing interior, and sounds pretty good, this is definitely something you should consider if you want to lucky spend more money than you did. Just make sure you get a warranty. Number 2, this is going to be the Mercedes AMG GT53. You can find yourself one of these somewhere around 55K, and the great thing about this car is all the trim levels look exactly the same, especially if you don't know what to look for. And the great thing about that is the average person won't. So this car has a beautiful design as well as an amazing interior, and most people are going to think you spent like 100K plus. Number 3, that's going to be the Aston Martin Vantage. I couldn't make a list like this without including this car. Being the most expensive on the list, the cheapest I could find one for is around like 80K, and I think it had like 20,000 miles. I'm going to put it like here regardless. But this is a supercar that you're getting for cheap. And they say Aston Martin reliability has come a long way. So if you want to take your chances to roll the dice, I definitely recommend you get one of these. And everybody going to think you won the lottery. But mainly the people that don't understand that it's a heavily depreciated car. But to be honest, if you're getting an $80,000 car, you still got to be doing good to some extent.
Honestly, I don't really agree with that one too much in the end. We've seen a countless amount of people who are, I guess you could say, middle class right now. I mean, middle and lower class is really blending in today's world, but they still end up getting the nice big Suburban or Yukon or Escalade, something along the lines of that, and they start getting in that $80,000 range. So I mean, I could keep going with these clips. I actually have a good amount more, but I don't want this video to be too long. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's all I got for you guys today. YouTube thinks you like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.